I'm June Walker. I'm Sharon Boyd's sister, and I'm here to read two remembrances from my two brothers. The first one is from my brother, Jeffrey Walker. Greetings to all. I am Sharon's second younger brother, Jeff, from Phoenix, Arizona, and thank you for being here to celebrate the life of my dear sister. It is heartening to see that one of her last wishes was observed, that any gathering like this should be low-key, small, and limited strictly to those people in the area who were dearest to her, which means all of you. If anyone ever landed in the right place to live her life, it was my sister. She loved this town dearly for its texture, its beauty, its history, its social conscience, and most of all, for the quality of the relationships it nurtured. No day began without Sharon being glad to be in Saratoga. An untimely trifecta of medical ailments prevents me, my older brother, Lou in South Carolina, and my younger sister, June in North Carolina, from being here with you today. That was the day of her memorial service. But be assured that we are present in spirit in the fullest sense and share the burden of deep sorrow visited upon Gordon, Louisa, and James. We have all lost someone very dear, and we all gained even more by having had her in our lives. For me, meaning for my brother Jeff, that was a 72-year run, long but not long enough. I have always maintained, without serious opposition, that Sharon was the most talented person in our family. She could create something beautiful, aesthetic, and positive out of nearly anything she encountered as it moved past her, whether it be some nuance of color, nature, shape, or human experience. Little escaped her eyes because they were always trained outward toward others in an earnest gaze that channeled the kindness and compassion that I saw in our mother and in our maternal grandmother. No one was more sincere than Sharon, who poured her energy into caring about everything and everyone she touched. She set the high water mark for all of us. Her artistic perspective came through in the most offhand ways. One summer day, she called me up excitedly to relate a fleeting scene she had just witnessed in the Price Chopper. She spotted Suzanne Farrell shopping for groceries on a break from her duties as principal ballerina for the New York City Ballet. Sharon was struck not by any notion of celebrity, but rather by the stark incongruity between Ms. Farrell's physical movement and such a pedestrian scene. Sharon said it was as if someone had loosed a live deer in the dairy aisle. Only she could come up with that one. I want to thank Gordon for having the vision to present the display of Sharon's mementos from the perspective of how she saw the world. It is altogether fitting because for my sister, it was never about her. It was always about others and about the swirl of life around her. I also want to thank her dear friend Rachel Morris for curating the items that went into today's display. No doubt Rachel's greatest challenge was deciding what not to include from a body of work of Sharon's caliber. The family owes a special debt of gratitude to Bettina Cherry, the night nurse who came in during Sharon's last days to make an enormous difference for Sharon, Gordon, Louisa, and James when the need for comfort and support was most acute. Louisa thought Bettina must have arrived from heaven above. But in truth, she arrived because of the Cilernis, who also have the family's permanent gratitude for that thoughtfulness. Sharon's talents were rare, rare in that they could find their expression in any medium: oil, water, watercolor, clay, pencil sketch, etching, pastel, charcoal, bronze sculpture, photography, layout, design, pen and ink. She did it all and did it well. I have often run across photographs I have never seen but knew to have come from Sharon due to the subtle and elusive qualities therein captured. But the one medium in which she was most adept and through which her life was best expressed was people. Each of you in this room knows what I mean, because she poured everything she had into the bonds that she created, whether they were momentary or of longer duration. Most of her energy within this art form was reserved for Gordon, for Louisa, for James, and more recently for Leo, Cruz, Zavi, and for their mother, Kate. This younger generation is the message that Sharon has now delivered to the future, and I know they will find their own ways to channel and then project the kindness that Sharon radiated throughout her life. She will live on within all of them. Her voice will always echo, and she will remain buried in our hearts forever. So that's the first one. The second remembrance is from my older brother Lou Walker, in South Carolina. He writes, when I became old enough to understand some things and to question some things, one of the mysteries of my life was, why wasn't my older sister given a middle name? As a kid, she was just plain old Sharon Walker. When I would occasionally get under her skin, I remember her chasing me all around with a rolled up Life magazine, ready to give me a swat once she caught me. But it wasn't too often that this would happen. She had too much of a gentle and caring nature to let any indignities get in her way, from her siblings, from other people, or from life's mounting challenges. Sharon always knew how to deal with it. Over 50 years ago, Sharon finally did get a middle name, Sharon Walker Boyd, when she married her beloved husband, Gordon. But in her life, Sharon had many middle names: kind, loving, talented, intense, aware, caring. These are but a few that come to mind. I'm sure her children, Louisa and James, can think of a few more. What an honor to be her brother and to have her live on, not only in my heart every day, but in the hearts of many. And he signs it with much love, Lou.